Good morning, everyone, and thank you guys so much for joining. Welcome to today's stream. So far this morning, we're having the market pop back up again. We can see the SPY is just under $440 each. We're seeing a ton of great upwards movement from some of these MJ stocks. Tilray just broke above $12 a couple minutes ago. It's looking pretty good. We're also seeing some good movement out of stocks like CGC and all the other marijuana stocks. So definitely keep them on your radar. CRON, they're all starting to pop off. And, Tom, heading into today, I know we have a lot going on with the market, a lot going on with these marijuana stocks, but what are you watching?
Yeah, I was really keeping my eye on the VIX today, just in case we saw the SPY kind of dip back down after Powell talked yesterday. But it looks like right now, pre-market's actually doing very well. And it looks like we did have a little dip down here, right back down to that 439 support. It looks like that's going to be a pretty good bottom level for right now. But, we had a nice pop up in pre-market, and we actually moved above the high of yesterday. So I'm wondering if the market kind of liked what Powell said, and I wonder if the market will kind of go back up over the next couple days. We had a pretty big dip to the downside, and a lot of people are looking for this dip to be bought back up. But if we break 439 to the downside, then I'll just look at it to go down.
Good stuff. So I really have my eyes on some of these cruise lines like RCL and just other growth plays or just recovery plays. So RCL, CCL, you could say RUN, you can say Plug, BLNK. There's a lot of setups right now that are at some pretty good levels, and I feel like out of all of the opportunities in the market right now, those are the best ones in my opinion, especially comparing them to stocks like, some of these stocks like Microsoft or Apple, which are amazing companies, but I just feel like they're not at the discount that a lot of these other stocks are at.
Yeah, they're not. And whenever we go look at Microsoft, for example, they didn't really even fall. Like they fell from 305 down to 295, or pretty much down to 290 on this drop. Like they barely moved. And we have stocks like CHPT, BLNK down like, 50, 60% from their all-time highs. So there's definitely better opportunities other places, like you said. And even a good one is going to be DraftKings, and they're actually getting a nice pop up today. And look at the daily chart. They actually hit right off that 100 SMA and right off that 52 support also.
All right, literally every stock on my watch list is green today, so you love to see that. Run is leading the way. So there we go. And thank you guys so much for joining today's stream. Welcome Hunter, Raphael, Alex, Jamie, Keisha, Maine, Iranical, Santiago, Bill, Jorge, Rick, James, Vicky, and Mike. Thank you guys so much for joining today. As always, let us know what stocks you're watching, and we can definitely take a look at them. And we have Mike saying, good morning, what's been happening to Disney? I thought they got an upgrade. So, yeah, they were looking great until their CEO basically out of nowhere said that the company wasn't going to do as good as they initially were expecting, and that kind of made the stock tank. But it looks like that was a big overreaction by the trading bots. So a lot of times what happens in the market, like especially over recent years, is we are becoming more and more influenced by algorithms and high frequency trading systems and artificial intelligence and all that crazy stuff in the market. So what happens is when you see bad news come out, the algorithms will short the stock really heavily. And, as we can see, it looks like that was an overreaction. Investors are buying the stock right back up. But long story short, it sucks to see a down move like that, but it wasn't anything like, horrible.
Yeah, and we really held that nice like 168 to 170 support, and we really failed to move too far below that, which was great. And I think if we do end up breaking like 167 or something to the downside, then Disney could go a little bit lower. But for right now, that 170 support's been really big. We bounced off of it a lot of times over this past year, and it looks like a pretty nice little recovery here on the daily. And I know a lot of people were buying calls on this dip, and that was honestly a pretty good way to go.
Love to see it. All right, so just looking through these questions really quickly. We have Spacely going top of the morning. Welcome to the stream, Spacely. Hunter said ear got slapped. So EAR, how's it look? Oh, what, 63%? What's going on there?
Yeah, this is awful. Look at this. And then it opened. They're going even lower. Now 64%. This is just a terrible sell-off here. And man, I don't know what they have going for them, but wow, this is bad. Hear X, your prescription for better hearing. So yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound good right now. I'm not hearing any good profits from this company.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's horrible. So I'll have to look into that one a little bit more. Even the daily chart looks pretty bad. So that's interesting. RCL is up almost 2.5% on the day. It's running very nicely, and I think the setup looks great. I've actually been waiting for this breakout for probably a couple weeks now.
Yeah, and it's actually it really broke that $86 resistance from yesterday. And look at this on the max daily, Mike. Like we've been consolidating here. I mean, this was so much up and down movement for the past like month right here. I'm just so glad to finally see the breakout. Like you said, you've been talking about it for a long time, and it's had a really good opportunity down here at these lows. Same thing with CCL, same thing with AAL. Some of the airlines are doing good also. And man, it's so nice to see these companies finally breaking out of this range they've been in for what seems like a couple months now.
All right. And then we have Maine saying thoughts on Boeing for today. So let's take a look. BA, they did great yesterday. Honestly, like they had such a great day yesterday. Sometimes what we see with stocks like Boeing is like they'll not move today or they'll fall a little bit and then continue up. But either way, I think that they're at a really good level for like a long to medium term pickup. And over the next couple months, I can definitely see them like retesting 240 or even 250.
Yeah, and they're getting really close to that 220 resistance. So I'm with Mike. I could see it falling down like a little bit today, maybe retesting like 216 or something like that, just because of how drastically they went up yesterday. But I'm with Mike. I could definitely see it breaking 220 eventually and possibly moving to the upside, especially if we keep seeing the airlines and the cruise lines doing what they're doing. I think Boeing will do fantastic if those companies start to pop.
Yep. And then, like, I wouldn't necessarily buy puts on Boeing today, though. You know what I mean? Because I'm not expecting, like a hard red down day. But either way, I think it looks really good for, like, the long to medium term. Welcome, I'm Fierce to the stream. Thanks for joining. Taking a look at the scanners right now, Tom. It looks like we have AMC showing some good movement to start the day. They're having a nice bounce above $40. They're up, like, 3.5%. What do you think?
Yeah, we do actually. And it looks like in pre-market, we hit $42 even. And it looks like we're going to be heading right up to that to retest or possibly break that today. Honestly, I think the setup looks pretty good. You know, we're hitting that 40 support and it looks like there's a lot of momentum today. A lot of stocks are green, which is great. So AMC can kind of benefit from just all that upwards momentum in the market. And it just looks pretty good. I will say a lot of greens coming in right at open. It's bouncing off that 100 SMA. And like I said, I really think we're going to possibly retest or break $42 pretty soon.
All right, and then we have Stefan saying DraftKings with the question mark. So it's looking pretty good. It's up 2% on the day. It had a horrible drop over the past week, but I really do like it for the long term. And even in the short term, they have a good amount of momentum. And I would say over like the next week or so, I can see it retesting like 55.
Yeah, I could too. And, you know, it's not too far away from that. And I love the way it's kind of bouncing off these bottom levels of like $51.50 to $52. I think it looks like a pretty good bounce this morning. And I love DraftKings. You know, they even got into the NFT game, which is getting pretty big now. And overall, they're just a great company. They keep spending more and more money innovating. But I love them for shares. And with this big dip, it's good. It's becoming really, really enticing again. You know, it's a big discount from the highs of 65. And, you know, $53 is never a bad time for DraftKings. It's kind of like right in the middle. And if they keep falling down, even down to 43, you can keep averaging in. So your average price comes somewhere to like 47 or 46.
Good stuff. Alrighty, and then it looks like UPST is about to break another high.
Man, surprise, surprise. Look at this one run today. I mean, again, I can't believe it, but wow. I mean, it might break above 334. What do you think we're in for today, Mike? 350 or 400?
At this pace, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 400.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, man, this is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we have Alex noticing that UPST as well. So, yeah, it's going crazy. Like, I want to buy puts on it, but at the same time, seeing the way it's moving, I'm just not gonna. You know, it reminds me of that Home Depot, Redfin, and Target setup so much. Like, you think they're going to turn over, and then they just keep going up, and they'll just go up for months. You know, it's hard because, you know, in a setup like this, it's been running up since, I guess you can say, August 11th, and it's been running up for over a month, and it's not a slow run up, Tom. Like, it went from like 150 up to 335, you can say. That is huge, and it's crazy, and we all know we're going to see a pullback, but the problem is, like, if you buy puts too early, you can really get screwed over, and the problem is that these puts are not cheap. Like, if you want a put that expires on October 15th at the money, which is decent, it's not like a super high quality option, but that'll cost you like $2,500.
Whoa, yeah, and that's only October 15th, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I mean, that's only like 18 days away, or yeah, I mean, something like 18 trading days away. I mean, that's crazy. There's like not too much movement for that. I mean, wow. I mean, that's a lot of money just for October. So, I mean, and I would even want to go further out at this point, because who knows how long this is going to take for it to start to drop. Like, in a realistic sense, I would want at least November or December at this point, because who knows how much longer this will go.
Yeah, I'm with you for sure. All right, so it looks like Palantir's having a great recovery day as well, up around 3%. It's great to see that, because they had a horrible day on, what was that, Monday or Tuesday, and it's good to see them coming back up.
Yeah, it's really nice. They had that really bad downturn. They got really close to $30 last week. They had that humongous uptrend and people were really eyeing them up. And, we saw them move pretty significantly, pretty fast. So it ended up pulling back, but, we're coming right back up. And like you said, Mike, a great breakout trade again today. Watch out for the resistance at 28.50, and we're about 30 cents away from that. But, if we break that, we might be able to run up to 30 or something like that.
There we go. So Boeing is up 1% on the day. I know like a couple minutes ago we said that, it was looking a little negative. I mean, I'd love to see it continue up today. It has a lot of momentum, but I just know in the past, sometimes when it's up so much, like on any given day, it'll pull back. But, I definitely hope I hope it continues up.
Yeah, me too. And it's getting really close to that 220 resistance, which is pretty big. So we might end up getting rejected somewhere around 220, or I'm seeing another one like up there around 222. So look out for one of those levels. I think it could end up hitting, if we break 220, then 222 might be a pretty good target, actually. That might be a good day trade if you see a nice break.
Alrighty, so let's take a look. Guys, let us know what stocks you're watching, and we can definitely check them out. Looking at the scanners right now, there's nothing moving too much. I mean, Tilray's coming back up, and it's up like 6% on the day. But besides that, the stocks with the most momentum are Palantir, RCL, and BLNK as of right now. We have Jerry saying, how are you guys feeling about EVs today? Or let's see, EVS, did you mean? Okay, EVs. So let's take a look. So Tesla is up a little bit. NIO is, I don't know, they don't have so much momentum right now. You know what I mean? Like, they're looking decent, but I just feel like there's a lot of other good opportunities that are better than the EV plays, mainly because there's no momentum with them. Like, NIO is just kind of like barely up. Tesla is just kind of not really doing anything. It's up 0.35%, which is really nothing for a stock like Tesla. But then you look at some of these cruise lines like RCL, they're breaking out. Palantir, breaking out. You have BLNK starting to break out. Let's see, RUN trying to break out. Boeing trying to break out. So there's like other stocks that are moving a lot more.
Yeah, especially like Boeing and stuff. And one thing to point out with like NIO and Tesla is they had such a great run at open, and then they hit like that pre-market resistance and just got rejected again. So you'll definitely have to keep an eye on these ones and see how they move today, because it looks like they could possibly go up. It's just a really hard scenario right now with the way they're pulling back here at open, especially with like the QQQ kind of popping back up. That's never a good sign.
All right. QS is also breaking out. I don't know if you saw that one, but they had a great day on, a great day on Tuesday, and they're still running.
Yeah, look at that. QuantumScape actually getting up to that $25 resistance again. And I know this stock has had a lot of hype to it, Mike. And actually on the daily, like you said, there's a lot of momentum here, and it looks like it could possibly keep going up for the next couple of days, especially if we break 25.
Alrighty. Netflix is having a great recovery. And then we have Raphael mentioning Pfizer. So let's take a look. PFE, they're actually looking pretty decent for a dip buy.
Yeah, they are. They pulled back a lot on the daily and they came right back to that support of like 43, $44. And then they are coming right back up. It looks pretty good for like the next couple days, Mike. I'm with you. It looks like a pretty good dip buy. And I'm not saying they're going to go back up to 50 or anything like that, but I could see a nice run up to 46 or something really close.
All right, and then we have, let's see, Stefan saying LCID in plug. Let's take a look. LCID had a great week, but a horrible day yesterday. It looks like a lot of people took some profits, and there was some selling right around that resistance at 28, but it's holding that support at 25. So hopefully it continues to hold that level, and hopefully we retest 28.
Yeah, hopefully we do because that's a pretty big resistance up there. 28 and then $30 looks really, really big for PLUG. And I honestly love the way they've been moving up. It's a pretty good move off the bottom support. And I think it's still a decent time to grab shares on this company or leaps. I think that those are two really good ways to go with this one. But I don't really, I don't really agree too much with buying like calls that expire, like at the end of this week or like at the end of this or at the end of next week on this one, unless you're doing like a super quick day trade or something.
All right, and then so yeah, you have plug. That's good. And then we have Jorge saying, take a look at BB had earnings last night. So I was looking into their earnings, and they were pretty decent. I know that they reported a loss overall, but I know that their numbers were pretty decent, and they're up 10%. Remember, this is like a hype stock play, so if we start to see some attention from this one on Wall Street Bets, it can definitely pop off.
Yeah, it really could. BlackBerry has had a lot of momentum in the past, and generally, whenever those type of hype stocks get good earnings, people generally start to fly in. So hopefully Wall Street Bets catches on and makes this one really pop because you can see there's some days that BlackBerry has had where they end up popping up, like 15-20% and stuff like that.
All right, and then we have Maine saying Any is climbing again. Let's take a look. ANY, it is, yeah, it's definitely popping off, up 3%. It's holding that support right at 6. So it has a little bit of resistance right at like 750 or so. And then, it had that high a couple weeks ago right around 12.
Yeah, it did. And I think that's crazy to see. That would be almost like a 100% up. That would be like almost a 100% gain from where we are right now if that pop happens again. So, hopefully hopefully that can happen. But, that would be pretty risky to hold that long. But I mean, it had a nice run and it has a lot of hype to it lately. Lots of people have been eyeing up ANY and I hope the dip gets bought back up, but it's just going to be a pretty risky one.
All right. And then we have Keisha saying nice pop in Roku. So ROKU, yeah, they had a great opening and they're up 3%, but they're down from open. I believe they got upgraded. I was reading, yeah, so it looks like they got upgraded. Let's see. Yeah. So they got upgraded. They have a $395 price target, and they're only at like $335 right now.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good, price target all the way up there around $400. And there was a pretty big resistance up there around $400 too. So I would not be surprised to see this one kind of slowly but steadily get back up towards 400 over the next like few months.
Love to see it. Then we have Jorge saying AAL is $21. So that's great. I'm loving these recovery plays right now. AAL, RCL, UAL, NCLH are all looking really good. And, we've been in this RCL call swing play for quite some time, and it's really starting to pop off.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we broke that 86 resistance today, and we just have went straight up ever since that happened. Same thing with AAL. I mean, man, we just broke above that $20.75 level and just continued to fly today. These setups are looking really, really good, even on the daily charts. I mean, AAL and RCL are some of the best like breakout plays right now. Obviously, they're running a lot this morning, and like I talked about earlier, they've been in a range for a couple months now. So I'm really happy to see them actually breaking out with some significance to them because it's such a crazy way that they consolidated for so long. And generally these airlines and cruise lines like to move quite a bit. So whenever they consolidate like that, I'll definitely look for a big move.
Okay, and then we have Maine saying thoughts on CZR. So this is also a recovery play. I mean, they're a little bit, I guess they recovered a lot more than a lot of these other recovery plays like CCL, but it's still gonna move in the same, like I guess, in the same way as like hotel stocks, cruise lines, and airlines. So I do like it. It's just like you don't have that like potential profit, like that potential profit margin that you do with like RCL or CCL or something like that. But overall, it does look pretty good.
Yeah, and this one might even be like, I'm not saying like super safe or anything, but it might be a little safer than some of those airlines and stuff. The good news is that CZR is getting into that sports betting industry too. So they're all over the place and they have a lot of different stuff, that they dabble in. So that's a good thing about them. They're not really just stuck in like one sector there. So that's a positive, and it looks like they might hit all-time highs pretty soon.
For sure. So great stuff there. I'm just looking at a couple different stocks right now. RCL is really leading the way. Palantir's coming back up, but besides that, I'm not seeing any crazy movement. How are these MJ stocks doing?
Yeah, they're actually just kind of sitting like where they are, I believe. Let's go check Tilray. Yeah, kind of just, sitting right around the level that they kind of had their pre-market open at. They ran a lot in after hours yesterday, and they had pretty big moves up yesterday. So just looking at it, they're definitely consolidating a lot, like at this $12 support on Tilray. Looks like CGC is actually moving a little bit better, kind of up towards its high of day. But yeah, honestly, CGC just looks like it's outperforming Tilray a little bit today. And I would think that hopefully, CGC can start to break out and then maybe drag Tilray back up with it. But overall, I mean, they're doing pretty good today. They have some momentum. They're not as good as like the cruise line sector, but they definitely popped up pretty well.
All right, and then that's great to see. And then I'm just looking at a couple different stocks and comments right now. We have Vicky saying resistance and support for Etsy and PayPal, please. So ETSY, what are you seeing?
Yeah, on the 90-day 15-minute, there's definitely a big resistance up here around $229 to $230. You can see we hit that just a couple days ago on Etsy, came right back down. So watch out for that. Today, it looks like the high of day or somewhere right around 225 might be another resistance to look for. So if we fail to break out above that, you might not even have to worry about 230 up there. And then as a good support, kind of like right where we opened today, I think it'll end up being a pretty good support at 220 even. But I'm seeing even like another one a little bit higher than that, like right around 221. So there's definitely a lot of support and resistance that you're kind of between. And I'm kind of seeing Etsy like in the middle of its range right now.
Alrighty, and then what are you thinking with PayPal?
PYPL. I like this one a little bit better. There's actually a lot of momentum coming into these guys this morning, and it looks like they're bouncing off a pretty solid support here around 266. And I do like this one back up actually, Mike. And I'm not seeing, I am seeing some resistance kind of like where we're consolidating at now around 278. But if we can break that, I could see a pretty nice run up to 280 or up to 281 possibly.
All right, and then let's take a look at the market overall really quickly. I really wanted to highlight this because it really is popping up with a lot of momentum. The SPY's exploding, and even the QQQ.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I cannot believe the recovery that we're seeing today. And like you said, the tech sector is doing extremely well. I just keep seeing these stocks, even like CRSR, like Triple M, what's another one, like AMD, NVIDIA, looks like they're all turning back up. And they did have a little bit of a downturn at open, but they are recovering up quite nicely. And I will say AMD looks like it could end up breaking out maybe later on, and it's definitely running up right now. And look at NVIDIA, same scenario here. Micron is actually moving very well, almost up above their high of yesterday, and they actually fell down a lot at open. So that recovery up by them was actually pretty nice. And like we pointed out, these tech stocks are doing very, very well today on their recoveries back up. And I feel like a lot of these dips are going to get bought back up on, like Facebook and a lot of these other stocks that have been getting killed lately.
Okay, and then we have Jorge saying Unity broke 140, up over 5% on the day. So that's huge. Yeah, they're breaking out. It looks like their next major resistance level is right around like 150 or so.
Yeah, that's actually huge. And I believe, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Kathy Wood has a lot of Unity in like the ARK funds. And that's an awesome breakout right now, up above 140. That could actually lead to a pretty big run over the next couple of days.
Yeah, let me take a look at this one. So let me go to Unity, and it looks like Kathy has quite a good amount of Unity. She's holding it in ARKW, ARKQ, Let me get the other ones, ARKX and ARKK. So yeah, she's definitely got a good amount of Unity shares, and it's great to see a breakout like that. But how's like ARKK doing?
They're actually just kind of consolidating, I guess, just because obviously Unity's doing very well, but they hold so many different stocks that it's hard for them to move up on a given day unless they all go up. But, ARKK has been doing pretty good. I will say it's not been doing terrible, but it has been holding its support around like 115. And it looks like it's holding up pretty well from that. But, it's just been slow and steady. It's definitely lost the momentum that it had while those growth stocks were kind of exploding and while all the EV stocks were exploding too. But I will say it looks like a pretty good pickup for the long term down here, though. It's kind of at support, kind of like a lot of the growth stocks are, like BLNK, Plugs, CRSR. Just a lot of those stocks are at support, and so is ARKK.
Good stuff. And then we have market saying thoughts on RGC. So RGC, let's take a look. So it is up like 5% on the day. I have never heard of this stock before. It looks like they recently IPO'd. There isn't like a ton of data, so I don't really know what's going on here. I've never heard of them, but they do have support right around $15 and $20 a share with resistance right around 30.
Yeah, and that resistance at 30 will probably be the next level to look at if they keep going up. So it's going to be pretty hard for this company. I don't like the daily chart too much, but there's not too much data here. They had a huge pop and they've been consolidating a little bit. So I don't know. I'm glad to see that they have a little bit of momentum here, though. Maybe it can start to pop back up, but it's just not a play for me.
All right, and it looks like we're starting to see some good movement out of Moderna again, Tom. We broke about 450, and I don't know if we're heading for 500 or what.
Man, we might be. I mean, wow, what a big move. I mean, it looks like we might be coming up to retest those highs, like you said. I mean, this is a huge run. If we break out above this next resistance, let me get the exact level here on the 90-day 15-minute. It looks like if we break out above like 465, that'll be a pretty big move to the upside, in which there's pretty much no resistance between 465 and like 490. So I could see it having a very nice run. And the way it's moving here at open is very nice, Mike. It's honestly one of the better setups I've seen today.
All right, and we have Alex saying, feel Tesla will have a down day today. So it's just not really moving. So I feel like it could definitely go either way. I mean, to see a 0.34% up day with Tesla, it's just nothing. Normally we see at least a couple percent in either direction. So as of the way it's looking, it's definitely looking a little weak.
Yeah, and Tesla's actually hit off of this $760 level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is the 7th time we've hit it. Every time we've hit it so far, we went straight to the downside. So don't be too surprised if it goes down here. If we break this, though, I think we could get a pretty nice pop up. But it just looks like today we're failing to break out. And if the QQQ keeps running, there's no reason why Tesla can't pop up later in the day. But definitely eye this one up. Like if you're already in Tesla and we see it start to really break these supports, like if it breaks below 752.50, I'd start to get really worried about it, obviously. And it looks like it could end up popping down. It's just right in the middle today. The main thing is that the QQQ is flying. So if that can drag Tesla up, then great. But if Tesla keeps going down, it's going to show that it's losing a lot of strength, especially with the QQQ going up. That contrast between both of them is pretty bad. Like if Tesla does bad when the NASDAQ does good, that's a pretty bad sign for Tesla in the short term.
All right. Yeah, and I agree with you for sure. And then we have Hunter saying NIO has been really struggling lately. Yeah, I feel like the China situation definitely has not been helping it, The Evergrande situation, it kind of scared out the whole market, and with NIO being a China stock, I feel like, it's just not the best news catalyst to have, so I feel like that can definitely be playing a role, as well as, all these other growth plays just taking a big hit.
Yeah, for sure. And the one thing is that NIO actually had a great run today at open. And honestly, yesterday was a great run. So I don't know. It's honestly holding support on the daily pretty good. Hopefully it holds up. If it doesn't, then we'll just have to look at it. But overall, I mean, it had a great run yesterday, and it looks like it's holding support today, intraday, around 35.80 well, which is a good sign so far. So hopefully it can pop back up. But I'm with you. That Evergrande situation can definitely hurt it a little. But I will say it's higher than the closing price of yesterday. So it's definitely not terrible, like there's definitely a lot of other stocks worse, like Zoom, for example, which has not been doing well at all. Now it's coming back up at open, but they had a pretty steep drop off as well. And you could argue a lot of companies right now have been doing pretty bad.
Yeah. Like even Facebook, you look at the daily chart of Facebook, they look terrible, but they're trying to bounce back up.
Yeah, and same thing with Disney, like there's a lot of stocks right now, unfortunately, that have been having this, and it's a bad thing. And I see what you're saying though, like Evergrande situation is definitely going to be tough for NIO. Hopefully we hold this 1,000 SMA and we hold this 3580 support and get back up there. But with everything going on, it's going to be pretty hard.
All right. Nvidia's looking decent. AMD's also looking decent. So they have some good momentum today. I'm actually seeing a lot of stocks that are breaking out. Even ExxonMobil is doing very well. PENN doing great. WYNN. So we're actually seeing a lot of good movement today.
How about LVS? Can they have good movement? Oh, wow. It looks like LVS is actually up for once, Mike. That looks nice.
Wow, finally, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at this daily chart on LVS. I mean, they've just been getting killed. They're down by support, though. I mean, I'd much rather buy like Penn or something, though, for sure. It looks like Penn has a lot more potential.
All right, so like what stocks are you watching right now, given all of the current movement we're seeing?
Man, I'm really eyeing up AMD. I know we just mentioned that one, but they've had a lot of good momentum today. They've honestly recovered up pretty nicely after that steep drop off they had it open. And hopefully more stocks can recover up kind of like AMD has today, but definitely eyeing up AMD. Still looking at UPST to the upside too. If they can break that all-time high, it'll be awesome. It looks like they've had some problems breaking that so far today. So if they can kind of get back up above that 334.44 resistance, I think it could end up being a pretty good runner.
Love to see it. And then Palantir is breaking highs again. Great to see that. Uber's still going. UAL still going. Awesome stuff. So we have Vicky saying, why does the SPY options chain have random dates, not weekly prices? Not sure how to explain it better. So I'm not sure what you mean by not weekly prices, but what is important to note is SPY has a lot more expirations than basically any other stock. So normally what happens is a stock will almost always have an expiration date on every Friday. Now that's for most stocks. Some stocks only have expiration dates one expiration date per month, but most stocks have an expiration date for every Friday. However, SPY is unique in the way that it has an expiration on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So there are a bunch of different expirations on the SPY. It is one of the most liquid options chains you can possibly find. Basically, any and every expiration strike price has volume, which is a great thing to see, and you don't see that like really anywhere else in the market, if we're being honest. So just know that the SPY has a ton of different expirations and it's extremely liquid.
Yeah, and keep in mind that just because they have those expirations though doesn't mean it's necessarily smart to play them. Like I know that you might be able to, like on a Monday you might be able to get like a Wednesday call, but keep in mind that that's going to make it for pretty risky trades. You can do that if you're day trading and stuff like that, but generally those weeklies or those like ones on like Wednesdays and Fridays and stuff, those ones aren't generally like the best ones to trade in my opinion. I'd rather just go for like the regular ones that end on Fridays, like just the regular weekly options or even the monthly ones.
Yeah, I mean, people really get caught up in the huge moves that they can have, but the problem is like most of those options like that expire the next day end up falling a ton. So you have to be really careful, like Tom said. Vicky said, great. Thank you, Mike and Tom. Also, thank you, Hunter, for helping us out there as well. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know it, so no worries at all. And it's a great thing for everyone to know. So great question, Vicky. We have Keisha saying EA is clawing back. So let's take a look at it. I know that it's been struggling a good amount, and it's good to see a recovery like this, I should say.
Yeah, and I think that this stock will recover up pretty nicely. I'm glad it kept going down. I remember we were looking at it a lot whenever it was at like 137. The dip is actually pretty big now to the downside. And, if the overall market starts to pop back up again, I think EA could have a nice run. That new video game's coming out, Battlefield 2042. it's supposed to be pretty good. They had some bad news with delaying the game, which made the stock kind of drop, but I think that might have created a great opportunity for us here.
Yep. All right, and then we have Ali saying, looking Norwegian Cruise Lines, thanks. So yeah, it's looking pretty solid. All these recovery plays are looking pretty great for the most part. NCLH looks good, RCL, CCL, AAL, UAL, like anything with a recovery setup, it looks pretty good right now, and they're booming up, so I like it.
Yeah, me too. And we've talked a lot lately about like BLNK, CHPT, RUN, and those stocks. And it looks like they're actually, they had great runs at open, Mike, but it looks like they're actually coming back down a little bit now, which is a little bit unfortunate. But, they had great runs this week, which was nice to see. But, I'm still glad to see a lot of these other stocks moving up, though, like CCL, RCL, and a lot of the airlines. And it honestly looks like CCL might be trying to break this resistance at 24.40 again. Looks like we might have another intraday run, and looks like we just broke that right now, and it looks like it's breaking out.
Here we go. Vicky is asking for levels on the SPY. So what do you have for us?
Yep, let's go look at the SPY. It looks like we just broke out up above 443. I know there's a big level at 444 on the SPY. Let's look at the 90-day, 15-minute. Yeah, 444 I think is going to be the biggest resistance to look for as we go up today. That's actually going to be right around the 1,000 SMA as well, which generally, once we hit that, we generally end up getting a slight move down or something. So watch for maybe a break of 444 to the upside, or watch for like a rejection at 444. I think that'll be the main level to look at. And then I think we just passed through 442, which I think will end up posing as a pretty good support for us.
Good stuff. Then Hunter said QQQ also has the same thing with their options. So, yeah, that's great to see. And what a lot of people don't know is you can actually trade these options in after hours for 15 minutes after the bell. So, like QQQ and SPY, let's say the market, let's say like let's say the market closes and you wanted to get an options position in for the SPY or QQQ, you have 15 minutes after close to get an order filled.
Yeah, that's actually really good information. I know a lot of people don't even know that, and that's really good to tell people because, man, I know that that's a pretty big thing, but that is only on TD Ameritrade though, right, Mike? Like I know like on Robinhood you can't do that, right?
Well, I mean, it could be done on it's not just TD Ameritrade. Like other brokers can do it as well. It's just a problem that Robinhood, I believe, does not offer it. But guys, I don't use Robinhood too much. So if they do, I'm sorry. But basically, any quality broker uses it. Like Interactive Brokers, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, like all those ones. I know Robinhood sometimes can lack in features and things like that. So they might offer it. I don't really know. I don't know if it's only for Robinhood Gold. So either way.
We know for sure it works on TD though.
What'd you say?
I just said for sure though we know it works on TD Ameritrade.
Yes, absolutely. So for sure on TD Ameritrade. And yeah, so good stuff there. And then we have Clinton saying QS and BB just ridiculous this morning. So yeah, it's exploding up and it has a lot of momentum.
Yeah, that's a huge run up actually. And it looks like it tried to just break out just a minute ago even and got rejected again up there around 26. But wow, that's a huge move out of QuantumScape. BlackBerry is continuing to run up too. And I don't know, I almost like BlackBerry a little bit better. This one has a lot of momentum. And like you talked about earlier, Wall Street Bets loves to buy up this BlackBerry stock whenever it does well.
For sure. All right. And then we have Clinton saying crazy runs for both of them. No doubt about that. What else do we have moving? CRM's popping off. Square's popping off. JP Morgan running. So, yeah, we definitely have a lot of upwards momentum today. RCL is still going. They're going to break that $88 level.
Yeah, they actually are running up nicely. I like how you point out these banks. JP Morgan is having a great day. I mean, wow. Yeah, RCL continuing its momentum. And look at that. We're about to break out above 88 here. And what was the other one that just broke out a minute ago, Mike? Was it CCL just broke out. Now it looks like RCL might be doing the same thing. Definitely look for a break here. I know I'm definitely going to be looking for one, but I mean, this looks like a nice double top. So if we break, expect a pretty good move, kind of like what we saw with CCL. It finally broke out above 24.40 and we got a pretty good 10-cent run here at least.
Yeah, looks really good. These cruise lines have been looking great for a while, and I still think that they're at a pretty good level overall. So, love to see that. I'm doing a quick scan right now. Plug is also breaking out pretty big. Boeing's looking decent. RCL, HLT's looking pretty good. Let's see, HLT. Yeah, they're breaking out too.
Yeah, Hilton actually. This one looks pretty good. And I know we've talked about this one a little bit, and this is actually pretty nice. I know that they opened up a new humongous hotel in Las Vegas. Check it out. It actually looks pretty cool sometime if you guys are ever interested. But I mean, hopefully that ends up helping them. They've actually had a really nice daily chart over the past few years. I know they got killed with COVID, but other than that, they've this went up nice and steadily.
All right. We have Jorge saying ATER is really falling today. So, yeah, they are getting smacked down almost 28%.
Yeah, look at that. And they had lower highs here as well. I mean, they failed to break out above $20, just not looking good. And, once they failed to break out, we should have that should have been your indicator right there that it's probably going to go down, and just a pretty bad turnaround today, down 27%. Like we say, it takes the staircase up and the elevator down. And it looks like ATER is definitely a good example of that.
Yep. All right, and then we have Keisha saying ExxonMobil is on the move. I bought 35 contracts on Monday and got scared out of my calls on the sell-off. Now I'm crying. I feel like we have all felt like that at one point or another. You get into a play, the stock moves against you in a big direction, you sell out, and then the very next day it pops right back up.
Yeah, it happens. That's just part of trading. Sometimes that ends up happening. And like you can see how up and down Exxon and Mobil was. The oil market was going absolutely nuts. So don't be too worried about that. But I'm glad to see it popping back up for you. And hopefully we can break out above 56.50 maybe tomorrow or something. Because, man, this run up today has been so significant.
Yep. And then we have Nye saying, why does CCJ keep dropping or not moving even with good news? Well, it had such a crazy run up. Keep in mind this stock went from $16 up to $26.50 in like a month. That is a huge, huge move. So I would say that's the biggest reason. And I would say it's, it not moving is not a bad thing. It's holding its ground very well. And especially after a huge move like that, that's a relatively good thing to see. I know that it's also influenced by the spot price of uranium, so that's just another variable to look at while analyzing this stock. So yeah, overall I think it looks pretty good though. It's definitely holding its ground, and I like it for like the next couple months.
Yeah, and I remember, Mike, while it was up here at the top and it started posting these red days, you were very informative, telling people, hey, I love it, but I think it's going to fall back down. And, we definitely saw that, and it's coming back down. It looks like it didn't get back down quite to $20, but it looks like it might test somewhere around this 20 support pretty soon. And I could see it going up for the longer term. It's just in the short term, everything goes up and everything goes down. And like Mike said, they had that huge run. And even though they came down a little bit, like if you would have bought some shares at the 16 support, you'd still be up a nice 30% right now, which is pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, and great question, Nye. I bet a lot of people are also thinking about CCJ. So great job, Nye. And Tom, what stocks are you watching? Do you have any last-minute stocks or anything for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I'm still honestly eyeing up stocks like CCL, RCL. I feel like there's still a lot of momentum here with these stocks. CCL is just continuing to fly up. RCL recently just broke its daily high and started to run up a little bit. So hopefully the momentum can keep up with these stocks. I'm also kind of eyeing up LVS. Now, this one's going to be pretty risky, but if you can catch some good momentum with this one, it can end up working out. It's just that the stock has definitely been getting killed a lot in the short term, but it looks like it could have some good momentum. And then another one is AMD. I've been talking about them a lot. I'm still waiting for them to break that pre-market resistance around 106. And they've slowly and steadily been trying to climb back up towards that today. And I hope at some point we can break back up.
And then, Tom, we can't forget about UPST.
Yeah, look at that. UPST, it actually just broke, Mike. It broke that new high again at 335. I'll definitely be eyeing this one up too. Yeah, you can't forget about this, especially as it's breaking out like this. I mean, I said earlier, once it broke 335, it could have a decent run. So hopefully it just gets a nice run and breaks into the upside pretty well. I know yesterday it kind of had a good move, finally made new highs, but it was almost a fake out. It only moved up just a couple points and then fell straight to the downside. So hopefully today we see a pretty big run somewhere up towards 340 or something.
Awesome stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching today's stream. We had a great time, and it's great to see stocks booming up. So thank you so much for everyone joining. And with the last comment, we have Hunter saying, I think CLX is getting to a good level for the long term. 140 would be ideal. And I know that we were chatting about this one a little while ago, and it's definitely getting there. 140, I also think it'd be a pretty good level, and selling puts could be great on this one. So thank you guys so much for joining, and we hope you have an amazing rest of your day.